B2B marketing mistakes. It's time to finally fix your pipeline and your revenue issues. Welcome back to a fresh episode of BreakingB2B.com. I'm your host, Sam Dunning. If you haven't yet, why not join thousands of B2B legends enjoying my unusual weekday newsletter for B2B and SaaS marketing tips, insights, experiments, SEO, case studies, and more. Head over to BreakingB2B.com and hit that newsletter tab to dive in. So, join me today. I've got Yulia Olennikova. Yulia heads up marketing over at N.Rich. Yulia, welcome to the show. How are we?
Thank you. Hi. Thanks for inviting me.
Good stuff.
Doing great. How are you?
Doing well here. Doing very well. Really excited to dive in. I know we've got some hot takes, some experiments that you've been running recently, some new concepts that go against the grain that so many B2B and SaaS marketers often like to talk about in places like LinkedIn, communities, other channels. So really excited to dive in some of those findings and experiments that you've been running recently that do really go against the grain. And we're going to be diving into topics like some of the top B2B marketing mistakes you're seeing, why more leads isn't always the answer when it comes to go-to-market for B2B companies, how sales and marketing can communicate, and some concepts and proven techniques you've had there, as well as the experiment you've been running with passing off ebook downloads to sales. So excited to go into that. So let's kick things off. As a starting point, Yulia, what are you seeing in your day-to-day as a marketing leader as some of the top mistakes that folks are making in the SaaS and B2B space?
Yeah, to super quickly set the stage, I had marketing at N.Rich, and we, like, as a company, we have to deal with long sales cycles, with high ACVs, and we also help our clients move up market successfully and align sales and marketing in their organizations internally. So I am actually privileged to be my own ICP and be experiencing the same problems that our target audience is experiencing, because our target audience are marketers who want to have and demonstrate the revenue impact of marketing in their organizations. So yeah, like I will be speaking for myself, but also I think for a lot of our customers at N.Rich. I would say that the first mistake, and I got to it myself not a long time ago, is not realizing that marketing budget isn't something that you get by default. And when it comes to long sales cycles, to bigger deals, to higher ticket deals, it's not about whether you should get budget for webinars or events or SEO, but it's actually about if you should win this budget for marketing or it goes to sales. And this is about internal competition in the company, budget and resources and hiring and everything. It's actually very, very much limited. And now I would say that sales is in a more, well, I wouldn't say privileged position because they are under huge pressure, but like sales are, they more often can come in to the CEO and say, like, hey, this is the prediction. If we hire like 3 more reps, this is how much revenue an average rep brings in, and let's hire 3 more reps, and this is how much revenue we are able to bring in additionally. And marketing very often doesn't have this privilege. We operate, a lot of us still operate with leads and traffic and followers without necessarily having the reference to the bottom line numbers, how all of those activities are going to impact the bottom line. And when the CEO and the head of finance and RevOps are looking at, okay, like this is the sales forecast, they want more sales reps. This is the marketing forecast, they want more budget. What is more likely to affect the bottom line? 90% of time sales is going to win and actually get more budget. And so I would say that this is just one super important thing to keep in mind. And I think this changed quite a lot in the last years. We became more accountable for revenue, but we haven't figured out the right metrics to demonstrate this impact on revenue. So fun times for marketers, I think.
I don't think marketing it's rare that I hear that marketing have got an easy ride. But it's not always, they don't always do themselves that many favors. So I can't fully take sales time, but any regular listeners or watchers of this show know that I often bash marketing for various reasons. Are you tired of competitors ranking above you on Google, stealing traffic, leads, and mind share from dream clients every time they're searching for your services or offers on Google? At Breaking B2B, we fix that with our unusual approach to SEO, content marketing, and websites. We craft B2B SEO strategies and websites for revenue, not vanity. Head over to breakingb2b.com to check our results, pricing, or to book a call with me. Now, you raised a brilliant point. So a sales leader could come into the equation when it is time for budgets and assessments and forecasts, and they could quite literally say, like, here's the numbers. We can see that each account exec, SDR, sales leader, whatever, however your organization is structured, is bringing in this much revenue per head. So we know that if we bring on, let's say, 3 new sales reps, we're likely to bring in this much revenue in the next 12 months. And then you did a great comparison. You said marketers are often guilty of looking at things like traffic, followers, or similar metrics. So what should a marketer do in that situation? Or what do you do, Yulia, when you've got that to contend with?
I can say what a marketer shouldn't do. I like the huge mistake. I was guilty of it myself, is starting to put marketing in a competition with sales and suggest something like, okay, let's set outbound targets and inbound targets. So marketing will bring 30% more pipeline or 30% more revenue through inbound on top of sales used to bring already. This is a slippery slope, really, because marketing should not compete with sales for every revenue dollar that was brought in. Was it should marketing be given credit for this, or should sales be given credit for this? Because we are responsible for very different stages of the pipeline and very different metrics along the buyer journey. Because if the buyer journey is 100% of the cycle, sales are influencing the last 10 to 5% of the buying cycle, of the buying journey, which are of course the most important, the most trackable, and so on. But marketing is who is influencing this rest of the buying journey that can be 90%, 95% of the time. And I think the further we go, the more cautious buyers become to raise their hand and speak to sales, and it will only be getting worse. So we are just responsible for very different things here, and the last thing that we want to go with is to start fighting over who brought this lead, who touched this account, who touched this lead for the last time before the conversion happened, and so on. So we were going through this ourselves. It didn't work for us. What worked for us is a different approach that we are actually practicing now. Do we want to dive deeper into this?
We definitely want to dive into it. That would be awesome. Now, you mentioned that marketing are responsible for a lot more of the buyer journey than sales. Sales typically come in late stage, but grab all the credit. Give us a bit more depth on what you believe marketing are or should be responsible, and where sales typically chime in, and then we can dive into how you folks are addressing that.
Yeah, well, what we are planning for ourselves for 2025 is to actually make marketing responsible for conversion rate as a metric throughout the buyer journey, and namely this would be conversion rate from sales touch point to discovery call booked, like actually making them raise a hand and agree to talk to us. Then conversion from meeting booked to qualified opportunity, which would mean that marketing helps sales attract the right companies in the pipeline that are actually able to convert into qualified opportunities. And finally, also conversion from qualified opportunity to closed one, which would be this indirect or maybe even direct confirmation of this of the fact that absolute majority of companies go with a vendor that they shortlisted on a very much earlier stage, like very early, even before they agreed to have that meeting. And this is something that marketing, I think, is influencing a lot. So if they are already familiar with us, with our brand, with our content, with our point of view on so many things, they will be also advocating for going with us, even if there are some other vendors in competition with us.
My first question is:
conversion is the answer.
Does this only work with companies that are taking a ABM, account-based marketing approach, though?
Yeah, well, as an ABM vendor, I mean, we are working with accounts. I mean, all of our marketing activities, or absolute majority of our marketing activities, is account based. Just because we are privileged to have our own platform for selecting, scoring, engaging, converting accounts. Of course, so this just comes very natural to us to center all of our marketing activities around named accounts. But yeah, I mean, not every business on earth is like that. But I believe that this account-based approach is the future of B2B, or at least upmarket B2B, because when you think in terms of accounts and not in terms of leads and audiences and like other more vague concepts, it just becomes so much easier to align with other revenue functions around how good is the quality of the leads that you bring in, how good is the quality of conversations that you are having, and more importantly, it's much more trackable, because you can take this account and you can follow all the journey from the first touch point to the closed one. So yes, of course, we are an ABM platform, so we will be advocating for ABM 100% of the time.
Makes sense. I appreciate the transparency. And yeah, I mean, I suppose I'd be interested to know as well, is this, have you folks got an outbound sales team?
Yes, we do.
Where do they?
We started out as a very outbound driven organization. I would say excessively.
Okay.
Outbound driven, yeah. But we are now having a better balance, a healthier balance, I would say.
Yeah. Where does outbound come into this flow?
Yeah, as I said, at N.Rich, we so yeah, it's again probably not very typical, but N.Rich started as a very outbound driven organization. So at some point we used to have like about several dozens of SDRs and 1 or 2 or 3 people in the marketing team. So outbound was really strong for us, and we were in this trap, let's say so, of having inbound, having marketing as a supporter to outbound. Something like, okay, bring us some leads, produce some collaterals, make those sales decks prettier, and so on. So that's I would say that for the last couple of years, I've been working on changing this at N.Rich, and seeing some success with it, of course. Yeah, I would say that outbound is it's an essential part, of course, of ABM. I don't know, I haven't seen examples of ABM programs, ABM-led organizations, if we can call them like that, without a good outbound machine. But that's a very good way and very efficient way to activate the accounts that are in your ICP, that internally within the organization you agreed on the definitions of your ideal customer profile. And I mean, you can either run campaigns or, like, I don't know, publish content and wait for them to proactively get in touch with you, or you can use the outbound motion to just speed it up and do it in a more controlled way. So 3 years ago, I would have said, okay, outbound is spam, it's not working, it shouldn't exist anymore. But 3 years at N.Rich changed my mind.
I love to hear it. I love talking to marketers or founders that aren't set in their ways, or don't just, because there's so much stuff. I mean, as B2B marketers and SaaS marketers, I certainly do. I spend a lot of time on LinkedIn communities, talking to smart folks like you that are living, breathing B2B and SaaS marketing. And sadly, a lot of people seem to just dismiss strategies and techniques before they've actively tried it themselves. Like, they'll say things like, outbound is dead, no one wants a cold call, no one wants a cold email, ebook leads don't work, just all this generic stuff. But most of the time, if you talk to them, they've probably not actually tried the strategy properly, or they maybe did it once as a one-off, it didn't work, and they've ruled it out. And I love to hear it when practitioners are actually doing stuff, trying it properly, and then reporting back either way. So let's move into the next part of this, which is kind of why more leads isn't the answer. And then perhaps you can share more about kind of what you folks have been doing with that proactive outbound and running some ebook campaigns, and what you found through that experiment.
Yeah, sure. Well, we were in this era, I would say as well, that like, marketing was generating leads for sales. Sales were not happy about those leads. They were running their separate outbound motions with accounts that were not shared with marketing for the warm up. And at some point we just realized that it's so disjointed and it's so inefficient for ourselves that we actually need to change it. But I would say that this is not just for us. There are so many situations when, like, I don't know, imagine a quarterly meeting, yearly board meeting or something, when the marketing leader comes in and starts showing those, like, up and to the right graphs with MQLs growing and like cost per lead decreasing, and everything is so, like, shiny and nice. But then the sales leader stepping in and saying, okay, actually our pipeline dropped, our revenue dropped. And I think it gives a very sad impression and says a lot about how the core revenue functions are aligned, or better say misaligned within the company. So yeah, I would say that the root cause of it is not being really aligned on who we are targeting as an organization. So no proper definition of the ideal buyers of the ICP, and the more concrete this ICP is, the more documented it is, the better for everyone. So when it's about, okay, like we are targeting digital agencies, that's that's not ICP. We are targeting software companies in the US, not really ICP, or something like anything like this. So for us, what worked really well is having an actual document. So that's the first step. A document, a Google Doc with as concrete ICP definition as can be, with qualification criteria and disqualification criteria. So it's about firmographic data, like where are those companies located, how big they are in terms of headcount, how like what they have in terms of revenue, how big is the marketing team, if they have an outbound sales team or not. But also, yeah, in terms of their advertising budgets, what are they spending their budgets on? Yeah, like a lot of parameters, and those parameters, this is super important. They should be like known to everyone in the organization. So it's not that the marketing leader or the sales leader at some point decided to change the criteria and say, okay, we are not targeting accounts above 1,000 employees because they think they shouldn't be targeted and no one knows about it. So yeah, like it really should be very well known in the organization. So the second step is to have those account lists in the CRM. So, okay, we agreed that this is our ICP. Those are the criteria of the companies that we want to go after, that we are already seeing success with. So the next step is to have those account lists in the CRM with proper way to identify them. Like, I don't know, it should be a CRM property that like this is ICP tier, or like this is ICP account or non-ICP account. And finally, the third step is those account lists should be synchronized across the main targeting platforms that marketing is working with. So you have an ICP, you have an account list of like a couple of thousand accounts. It shouldn't just live in the CRM and be just worked by sales, but it should go to your LinkedIn campaigns, it should go to your Facebook campaigns, it should go to your like account-based advertising campaigns on the platforms that you are using, if you are using them. And those accounts should be seeing your content every time. Like you want to be targeting them to make them more aware of you, to make them more ready in a way to talk to you when they have an internal need of a solution like yours. So yeah, like a document with super well documented parameters, in an account list in the CRM that reflects this ICP, and the audiences in the major targeting platforms that are synchronized with your CRM and like are targeting the exact same accounts. That's just the best way to, I would say, like avoid this waste of ad dollars, because if it's not like that, it goes down the hill super quickly.
Is there a good volume or amount of target companies to have as an ICP? You mentioned a couple thousand. Is that how many you target?
That's what we are seeing with our clients, that 1,000 to 5,000 accounts in the ICP is usually like the a good number to go after. But again, depends on the size of those companies. If it's
Sure.
1,000 enterprise companies and you want to run ads at them, then
That's
good
going
luck.
to be a lot of prospects within each account.
So,
Is that was going to be my next question, actually. Like, is there a sweet spot in terms of, I guess it depends on company size, right? Within like how many prospects you target inside each account. But I'm guessing there's a lot of nuances to that.
Yeah, well, it's it's a good number to have, and it's a good thing to keep in mind that actually I think marketers can be sometimes guilty of demonstrating this influence on an account. Like, I don't know, we had 2 people from a huge enterprise account that has 10,000 employees see our ads. 30 days ago, we contributed to revenue. We influenced the deal. That's a no-go, I would say. Again, depends, I think, on the industry, depends on the company size, but what we are seeing for ourselves, that the buying committee is about like 3 to 8 people, sometimes in bigger companies up to 10 people. So if it's less than twice this number, I think it doesn't really make sense. So yeah, like, identify your buying committee, like the size of your buying committee, but also have in mind that no targeting platform can allow you to exclusively target that people in the buying committee, like go that much contact level, so multiply by 2 or 3 or something.
I'd like to target the budget holder, please. That would be lovely. Yeah, that's fair.
The economic buyer, the CEO, because everyone wants to target the CEO. Another huge mistake that I see so often.
What are you folks typically? Who are you typically targeting? Because you said, like yourself, you target B2B and SaaS marketers. Is it like CMO, VP marketing, head of marketing, those kind of roles, or is it a bit more varied?
I would say that our champions, people who bring in N.Rich and the idea of having an ABM platform in the company, are typically folks responsible for marketing growth, marketing demand generation. So we are seeing success with like head of demand gen, head of growth, VP of marketing. Sometimes in smaller companies it's the CMO. But the real magic starts when those people manage to convince the CEO that ABM and sales and marketing alignment is the company priority. Because realistically, you can plan for whatever you want, and you can go to your sales leader and say, "Hey, let's run ABM together." But until the CEO prioritizes this as a company-wide project, it's unlikely to go smoothly, to be honest.
It makes sense. I mean, ABM's quite a big investment, not necessarily in terms of cash, but which it can be. But I suppose it's even the mindset, isn't it, that motion actually works. And like you say, getting leadership behind it, just like pretty much anything in B2B marketing, whether it's SEO, whether it's a new channel, whether it's a new platform. The hardest part is the internal battles usually, isn't it? What I found anyway.
You should basically change the way you forecast everything. And it often means pushback from the finance as well, because finance would be like, okay, we used to forecast it in this way. Okay, like 40% from inbound, 60% from outbound. Why should we do it differently? So yeah, absolutely, that's a shift in mindset.
So talk to me about let's annoy a few B2B marketers that say ebook downloads are dead. Talk to me a bit more about what you folks have been up to there and how that's worked.
I'm guilty of it. I'm sending PDF downloads to sales, and I'm sending webinar attendees to sales, and yeah, yeah. Well, I would say that it's very much black and white on LinkedIn, and yeah, what I've been reading recently is like, okay, let's agree that an ebook download isn't an MQL, a webinar attendee isn't an MQL, and MQL is only the hand raiser who explicitly expressed desire to talk to you. Can work if you have this very stable flow of incoming leads that just want to talk to you. That means you have a very good brand, you have very good awareness, you have very good product market fit. And I would say that not all of us are part of those organizations with super healthy inbound pipeline. And if we are thinking of launching ABM programs, right, this is there should be a reason for it. Like if everything goes already super well with inbound and with outbound, then like usually it's like, okay, we are not trying to fix what's working already.
Sure.
So yeah, for us, of course, we are looking for ways to increase pipeline. This is an ongoing task for us as well. What we did recently, we had quite a successful campaign in terms of leads, in terms of like downloads of some PDF materials that we produced that were very much focused, very much centered around ABM, about how exactly to to collect intent data, how exactly to define the ICP, how exactly to organize the alignment between marketing and sales in your ABM program, and so on. And we got quite, a good number of leads who downloaded those PDF materials. And then we thought with the SDR team, why not to practice what everyone usually is quite against? Why shouldn't we take a sample of those leads, identify those who we knew were interacting with those materials, like they opened this email with the PDFs more than 3 times, they clicked at least like 3, 4, 5 times on the links with those PDFs, so they didn't just leave their email and forget about it, as 95% of people now do, I think. But yeah, we really identified those high engaging people, high engaging accounts. And what our SDRs did, they put together a very customized intent report, like identifying potential in-market companies in the exact industry of this account, and like interested in relevant keywords from the industry of this account. So like if it was like, I don't know, a MarTech company, like an SEO tool, then the keywords should be search engine optimization, like, I don't know, enterprise SEO, and so on. Yeah, like our SDRs worked with 10 accounts, with 10 companies. No, with 8 companies, and yeah, they sent 8 super customized intent reports. They sourced 2 meetings out of those 8 touch points. One turned into an opportunity but like with not an immediate one, and the other one turned into a very good qualified opportunity that that is about to get closed won now. So what happened? Out of 8 touch points from the sales rep, we got 2 meetings in the pipeline, which is 25% from touch point to pipeline. What I'm seeing as benchmarks for the SDR outreach, for the outbound outreach, is that cold outbound normally turns 1% of contacts into meetings. And if you're lucky, then you turn like, I don't know, 2-3% into meetings. And we have 25% conversion rate to opportunities. So I would say that this was quite a successful experiment for us. Takeaway here is like, it's not that as marketing you should just identify those contacts who signed up for a webinar or downloaded the PDF and just send them to the sales reps saying, okay, try to book a demo with them. And the reps would go with like, hey, would you like to book a demo? So that doesn't make any difference.
No.
But if you sit together, if you identify what would be the exact offer, the exact proposal, the exact value for those accounts who interacted with this specific type of content, and make a very customized proposal for those like specific people who are also in your ICP, who are also potentially in your buying committee. In our case, those were marketing leaders. Then I think when it really starts working. And the best thing also is that your sales team starts seeing the value of marketing, and they start coming to you and saying, hey, do you have more of those leads? We actually want to be working with marketing leads. We see that you are actually supplying us some good companies and leads that are ready to talk to us. And this is where the chemistry is starting.
That's awesome. That's awesome intel. Are we able to dive into any of the stats against like time resource for like fully get the process, identify the identify the right accounts that have consumed the content or interacted with the content enough, make sure they hit your ICP, then build some kind of tailored proposal, plan, audit, offer that we know that's going to resonate with them. And then I think you said, was it 25% of those were then agreeing to some kind of meeting or demo, whatever that next step is. What was are we able to share any numbers against kind of what it costed to source one of those against what an end deal would look like, or time resource? Because I'm sure some folks will think this sounds awesome, and I'm thinking that. In terms of, are we able to get any idea of kind of, I guess what I'm asking is like resource behind that? Because people these days always looking at quick fixes, but I'm very much on your side in the fact that I like tailoring stuff out. Whether that's, I don't know, going one step extra and the sales rep creating a custom Loom video, or doing a little bit extra to stand out. So I'd be curious to know if we can get any more insights into kind of the work that goes behind that and getting that end, I guess, ACV value.
Well, again, speaking of our numbers, of course, if we count all the let's say like resources and budgets that were spent, then the cost per opportunity, like cost per qualified lead, of course, goes up. So yeah, like cost per touch point, I would say. So it took an SDR at least 30 minutes to work on this custom intent report, then customizing the like the outreach versus like writing a prompt for this AI powered one-to-one personalized at scale cold outbound tool, and just sending like, I don't know, 1,000 emails at the same time. So yeah, like cost per touch point, of course, goes up. But I would say that it's also about this internal satisfaction of like doing something that is making an impact. So like you send out 1,000 emails with AI, you get 300 out of office automatic responses, you get a couple of like stop spamming me, unsubscribe me immediately, get out of my inbox, and so on. And maybe on a good day you get like 1 or 2 positive responses. But I don't think this is like long term it's good for one's mental health, to be honest. I think this is why SDRs are facing burnout more often than a lot of other roles in the company. So yeah, I would say that it's about making an impact, and it's about building a deeper connection with your target account and being perceived as someone who gives value. And whenever the need of your solution pops up in the organization, they would think about you.
Yeah. So it's, I guess,
does it answer your question? Yeah, because I mean, I didn't provide any exact numbers, but this is what I'm seeing also when I talk to the sales team, to the SDR team. They are just seeing that they are making an impact, which is so important.
That is important. I think that's something that also doesn't get spoken about. So I think if you can keep the sales team happy, that's a win-win. And at the same time, if you can craft an offer that is so much better received, yet, like you said, it might take them 30 minutes of their time to put together. But then if on the back end, they're seeing a significantly better response rate in terms of what's turning into meetings or demos or whatever your company's next stage is, then it does make sense. Cool. So moving forward, have you got time to cover the last few practical steps to work better with your sales team?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so first one is, of course, to figure out your ICP together. Look at what are the companies that are already generating more revenue, turning into qualified meetings, convert better, faster with higher ACV. Document those criteria, document the green flags, red flags, and make sure that you are very well aligned on this. And one more small step, super important, if you can, offer a monetary incentive to your sales team, to your SDR team, to work on accounts that have been warmed up by marketing. So I will explain. If they convert a meeting, if they book a meeting with an account that was previously influenced by marketing, they would get a bigger commission. So with a marketing warmed up lead. This really works wonders, and it helps focus the sales team on the prospects that on the accounts, on the prospects that you are actually supplying to them. And yeah, the third one, which can be the step one, but sometimes it's step 3. Actually, get your CEO involved. Get your CEO. Just go and say, hey guys, alignment is a priority in our company. You should not be fighting against each other. You should not be fighting over who gets the credit for this lead. You should be working together. You have the common goal, which is pipeline and revenue. So go and do it. And it's not always easy to have your CEO, your leader, to get involved into this, but when it happens, it just makes a lot of things so much easier.
Love it. And I think point 1 around ICP we've drilled into quite a bit. Curious. So sales your sales team get incentivized for actually working the accounts that marketing have already warmed up, as opposed to doing pure cold outbound or finding their own prospects?
Yes. Yeah. We tried we tried actually splitting the credit 50-50 between sales and marketing. Like if an SDR books a meeting with an account who had marketing touches in the past, then the credit would have been divided 50-50. It didn't work. So we were like, okay, why not do the opposite? Why not reward both teams more for collaborating? And then when I think 3 months later, we saw that okay, we are spending more on commissions, but those accounts actually convert better into revenue. So nice. the return on investment is very good here. And then we measured again 6 months later, and it became even more obvious that cold outbound would convert from discovery call to pipeline at about like 20-23% conversion rate, but accounts that have been warmed up by marketing previously convert at 39% conversion rate, so almost double. And they also convert better to revenue. So it makes sense to like offer 10% more for a meeting booked if you see the impact on revenue that is so much bigger.
Like it. And so to clarify, do your marketing team and your sales team get incentivized now?
So it's the SDR team gets incentivized a little bit more for like landing those accounts. It's a little bit different for marketing because we get incentivized on meeting our pipeline target in general, but we have the target for like inbound only pipeline, like those self-serve leads, let's say so. But also on the accounts, on the pipeline that we are able to generate together with the SDR team. So yeah, that's how it works.
Got it. I like it. I've not spoken to that many marketing leaders where the marketing team are getting incentivized. So it's a nice new one to hear. Cool.
There are pros and cons. Yeah, there are definitely. We are not quite there yet, like to reaching the absolute happiness and in how we are measured, how we are rewarded. But I think comparing to where we were 12 months ago, we are much happier now.
Well, as in marketers get annoyed because sales earn more cash, or?
Well, I would say that it's still about attribution. It's still about touch points. Like we really need to make sure that our activities, our marketing activities, get like recorded in the CRM. It's not always possible. It's not always the case. Like organic social impressions, I think you still cannot get them in the CRM and so on. So we do realize it's not 100% measurable, but at least if we are able to measure even a portion of our influence, that's still better, and it makes marketing more valuable within the organization because you can tie it to revenue.
Have you folks tried incentivizing team members for posting on social and linking back to product or offer?
Not yet. No.
Just curious, because I see you posting great stuff all the time that is generally valuable to B2B and SaaS marketers, and just wondered if that was a scheme, but always curious to know. But with that, maybe, yeah, if the organization's up, I know I would, but most of my team are contractors, so it's easy for me to say with a relatively small team. But I know as you grow and scale, it's not always as easy with various members of the team to get on side. But there we go. Anyway, Yulia, really appreciate the conversation. Thanks for being, one, so transparent, and secondly, so practical with all the advice. So we can really tell that you are in the field doing this stuff day to day. So really appreciate you being so open with kind of what's working for your team, your recommendations, what didn't work, what does work, what you feel is working in the industry. So I think it's going to be really valuable for any marketers or founders that have tuned in.
Thank you.
So,
yeah, that comes as a part of being your own ICP. So yeah, I think marketers in MarTech companies really have this privilege. So yeah, just about time to remind ourselves about it. Thank you for inviting me.
You're very welcome. Just before we wrap things up, where is the best place if folks want to learn more about you, N.Rich, anything else you'd like to promote? Where should they go?
Yeah, find me on LinkedIn, follow N.Rich on LinkedIn, go to N.Rich.io to see what we are about, to book call with us, or yeah, just send me a message and let's talk.
Awesome. And I'll put all those links in the show notes and descriptions below. And thank you once again, Yulia. I really enjoyed the chat.
Likewise. Thank you so much.
Cheers. And as always, if you enjoyed today's episode, why not join thousands of B2B and SaaS marketing legends checking out the weekday newsletter over at breakingb2b.com for more unusual strategies, ideas, case studies, and experiments. And with that, we should catch you on the next one. Thanks very much for tuning in. See you soon.